What's going on, family? It's Sean, and tonight we're going to have a brief conversation about shrinkflation, or what I personally like to call inflation magic, because it's subtle, it's difficult to recognize, but it is a permanent decrease in your purchasing power. So what is shrinkflation? It's the phenomenon by which companies covertly downsize the volume of their products without changing the price tag, effectively raising prices while not setting off the consumer's alarm bells. So companies are incentivized to do this because they have to make a profit. They either raise prices or they decrease the volume and then force you to pay the exact same price. Now, companies aren't dumb. They recognize that consumers have a negative reaction to rising prices as well as to the decrease in the amount of the product. But there's 4 times higher negative reaction from consumers when they raise the price as opposed to just decreasing the amount of the product. I know recently I've seen shrinkflation in my own personal life because I went and I bought what was supposed to be a family bag of chips. And I thought I bought it at the grocery store, but by the time we divvied it out, it was more like one of those gas station bags. There's really nothing in there. So the CPI that everybody keeps track of as far as inflation is supposed to track the per unit price, because that's what they do. They'll take a 3-ounce cup of yogurt for $3 and they'll lower it to 2.5 ounces, and you won't recognize it unless you're paying attention to the per unit price. But supposedly the CPI does keep track of this, but I'm going to let you all make up your mind whether you believe that these reductions and effectively the destruction in your purchasing power is accurately reflected in the CPI due to shrinkflation. So some examples. Angel Soft toilet paper. It went from 425 sheets to 320 sheets. That's a 25% reduction. Charmin toilet paper from the 1960s used to be 650 sheets. Now it's 366 sheets. That is a 90% loss in your purchasing power. Dawn soap. Recently, it's gone from 7 ounces to 6.5 ounces. Honey Bunches of Oats, it's gone from 14.5 ounces to 12 ounces, which is a 17% decrease in your purchasing power. And also, you've seen it in Gatorade as well. So the Gatorade Forever bottles, it's gone from 32 ounces to 28 ounces. And all they did was give it like a waist, make it look a little human, and say, oh, it's better for you to grab. Now, the other tactic with shrinkflation, what they'll do, besides flat out not telling you or making the package look the exact same size, is that companies will come out and they'll like promote it as if they're doing something beneficial to you. So Folgers says they fluffed up the beans. So because they fluffed up the beans, they could no longer put 51 ounces of ground coffee into the container. They could only fit 43.5 ounces. But they said it still makes the same 400 cups of coffee, but it has half a pound less of coffee grounds. I don't personally understand it. I don't believe it, but that's what they're saying they're doing. So the reason I wanted to make this video is because this is something that is not really often talked about. You know, everybody's talking about inflation, but 17% right there, 25%, that is total destruction of your purchasing power. And it's not like if the CPI numbers go lower because the economy is slowing down and we're manufacturing less and there's less growth, the companies aren't going to go back and fill up the cereal boxes or make the toothpaste larger again. Like the toothpaste, now you buy them in a regular size box and it turns out to be a travel kit size. They're not going to do that. Forever going forward, you'll be able to purchase less of that good, that's all it means, is that now your purchasing power has decreased. So it's a hidden charge. I'm going to be out on the lookout for it a little bit more now, just trying to recognize it. I have noticed it, but if you recognize it, let me know. Send us an email, put something in the comments. I thought this was important going forward for us to recognize, and it's something that's not often talked about. Other than that, I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.